Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 27th of March. My name's Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Peer.
And we're filming today at number 8 Jessamine Avenue in the heart of Prahran East.
What a fantastic home this is, Philip. An exciting auction coming up this Saturday morning at 10:30 and a beautiful home. A real Art Deco magnificent property, this one, Philip.
This is a great property, Gary, and not only is it a great property, but it is one of not only Prahran East's best streets, but I reckon it's one of Melbourne's best gems because we're in a street which is walking distance to cafes in High Street, and we've also got the park just down the road and Dandenong Road on your doorstep.
And very unusual in this area, Phil, to have a big block of land. This one's got a massive back garden, and as you mentioned, to have a park in the street's a beautiful feature, and one of the most pretty streets too. So 10:30 this Saturday, we look forward to seeing you all at this wonderful property. Let's talk about the weekend that was.
The weekend that was, Gary. Well, I'm completely pumped and excited. In fact, it might be Tuesday, Gary, but I'm still sporting a bit of a hangover from the weekend because we've just had a weekend, viewers, where we've had 17 auctions and we've sold 14 out of 17, which gives us an 82% clearance rate for the weekend. And I have to tell you, Gary, some of the auctions that we conducted over the weekend and some of the auctions that I did, it was like we were back in the middle of the real estate boom.
Yes, 82% clearance against the industry clearance of 61%, which wasn't too bad either, actually,
No.
the whole industry. Of course, our rate's significantly higher than the industry rate, but still 61% shows some confidence, but we had some beauties. You're looking a bit tired there, Phil. I think you've got good reason to be because you did a lot of our auctions on the weekend. Let's review a couple of them. On Saturday, am I right here? Did I see the right figure in the paper? Did I get the right report? McKinnon selling $2.93 million in Rose Street, McKinnon. Was that the whole street? What's going on there? Oil at the back garden? How can a property McKinnon get that price? Can you tell us about that auction?
Well, Gary, I'm still speechless about this property. This was an auction which we knew was going to go quite well. The highest priced home ever sold in McKinnon was $2.2 million. So that already was a high price.
That was I think I auctioned that in Clee Street.
You did, Gary.
Yep.
I arrived at 41 Rose Street, McKinnon, a sea of people. In fact, we'll have some footage in a moment. Third and final call. Welcome to you now. I feel like coming over and giving you a big hug, sir, because you just saved me. Going, gone, ladies and gentlemen. We knocked it down after an auction that went for an hour at $2,930,000. This is the most extraordinary result I can think of in years.
Unbelievable outcome, and one of a number of them, but certainly no better. We did have a sale for substantially more in Howard Road, which we sold before auction, and that was also very exciting. But wow, McKinnon, almost $3 million. That's just incredible. Congratulations to the buyer there. They've bought something very, very special and really the most beautifully presented home too. Credit to the vendor.
Without question. In fact, this property, Gary, we're going to be filming a segment in the next coming couple of weeks about how to present your property, and this house is going to feature on GPTV because I think it's one of the best presented houses that I've ever seen.
I think we'll run that over the Easter weekend. We don't have any auctions then, so let's run that segment and that is the model home for it.
Sounds like a plan, Gary. Sounds like a plan. You're the man with the plan, aren't you?
I've got it all going on, Phil. Let's talk about the rest of the weekend. And prior to Rose Street, Phil, you had a good sale in Elsternwick. I wasn't able to make it to that auction. I was double booked, but I hear it was a very lovely home and a great result.
That was Villiers Street, Elsternwick, Gary. Lovely double-fronted period Victorian house with a modern extension at the rear. Weather was a bit uncertain, so we took about 120 people inside. It did have a kitchen, meals, family room big enough to accommodate that. Property we passed in at auction, but immediately after the auction renegotiated the sale, got the buyer up by $110,000 and successfully sold it north of $1.5 million.
Very good, lovely home and another great result in Elsternwick. We've had some terrific success there. A couple of exciting sales on Sunday just to whiz over. One of them we talked a lot about on GPTV, and that was the house that we recorded at last week, 120 Balaclava Road on the corner of Leeburn Avenue. That was the price undisclosed, but a really competitive auction, Philip.
A great result there, Gary. We had 3 buyers that really went hammer and tong right from the start, and what I consider to be a sensational price for that property, and it's a shame we can't talk about an undisclosed property, but the selling price on that was really above our expectations.
Yes, did go up considerably. The other property that was exciting on the weekend, we talked a little bit about last week, was 32 Armand Street, Caulfield South. Tell us about that.
I've got to tell you, Gary, I'm starting to think whether we should be calling the market back to where it was. I'm starting to wonder whether we should be saying that the real estate market is now kicking on. Some people might say it's a bit early to tell, but I think with increased auction clearance rates and a sale like Almond Street really starts to make me feel like the market is coming back strongly. That was a property where we thought we'd sell it for around $1.1 million. 3 buyers took that without a break, no reference to the vendor, and we sold that under the hammer for $1,350,000. Just an extraordinary price. Having said that, a really good property. That is also a property that was presented and furnished throughout by Melbourne Home Details, a company that we're doing a lot of work with, and it really does show that presentation is the key yet again to a successful result.
Let's talk about what happens this weekend. We've got quite a few coming up, a couple that we're going to focus on. We've talked about Jessamine on Saturday morning. That's going to be really interesting because, again, extraordinary home, not many blocks of land like this in Prahran East. We've also got one, we've got a block of flats coming up on Thursday, Philip.
Court, Gary.
That'll be interesting to see how that goes. Always a good indication of where things are at. I know there's some good interest in that, and it's a beautiful property right in the heart of East St Kilda.
That's 6 two-bedroom apartments.
2 bedders, all on separate titles, I believe, so we'll see what happens there on Thursday. The other one that you're involved with, Philip, is on Sunday at 2:30, and that's in Lock Avenue, a great street in East St Kilda. Tell us about that.
Oh, that's a gorgeous house, Gary. It's one of a pair, but one of the biggest semis that I've ever seen, complete with home office and a sensational 2-story extension at the rear.
Terrific. Well, we'll see what goes on there. Sunday at 2:30, you've got the honours there, Philip. And next week we will be reviewing GPTV. The week after, of course, our Easter bumper special, Philip, was going to be about presentation of property, how to get more money for your home. And that's something that I'm sure everybody, all those viewers on GPTV, are going to be interested in knowing a little bit more about.
Well, what an amazing week it's been, Gary. Really, my adrenaline is still up. I could hardly sleep last night, so excited about the weekend. The reality is, I think the market's coming back strong, so we look forward to seeing this weekend's results. Thanks again for watching GPTV. I'm Philip Kingston.
I'm Gary Peer, Real Estate Market, back in town. Looking forward to seeing you next week on GPTV.
Have a great week.